Hello to all of our phenomenal viewers, listeners, and supporters. I am your host, Billy Gutierrez, and I am excited to be here. If you are a new audience member, we are so grateful to have you. Welcome to another episode of Connected, where we discuss all things mental health, recovery, employment, and stories. Before we get started, this episode is sponsored by Contra Costa Behavior Health Services and John Muir. In this episode, we'll explore the young adult program offered here at Connections House. Our guest today is a longtime friend of mine, Sacramento State graduate, and holds a BA in Sociology. He is the Young Adults Coordinator for the Clubhouse and will give some expertise on what it entails, how he's navigating it, and the things he's doing to further develop the program. Let's give a warm welcome to my homie, Manuel Lopez.
Nice, man. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. It's great to be here and be a part of this podcast.
Yeah, man. It's good to see a longtime friend just be on the podcast and working together on the day-to-day and experiencing our work journey together within this mental health field. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Young Adult Program and share kind of what we're doing with the Clubhouse and ways that we're developing our program, and just kind of really excited for the new year coming, and to just share that with the Clubhouse and the Young Adult Program.
Of course. Excuse me, being two young adults within this podcast, especially in the mental health field, how are you yourself, Manny, taking care of yourself and your mental health?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I feel like we really have to take care of ourselves first before we, indulge in our work and give our 100%. One of the things I'm really focusing on right now is really taking care of my physical health, which also assists and helps with my mental health, of course, and my mental well-being. Trying to get really dialed into a routine. I used to be very routine-based, and right after college, that kind of just went out the window with my prior job because I was in retail, so I kind of did scheduling was all over the place, so that kind of broke my routines. But definitely, since I have some structure here, I can create some routines, which is really helping out with my mental health and taking care of myself that way.
What specifically though? What do you You do any facial cleanses? You go to the gym?
Yeah. I've been definitely doing a lot of gym in the early morning before I come to work. Taking care of personal hygiene. Doing little face routine stuff, and just staying on top of that. Scheduling my dentist appointments and my doctor's appointments. So really just adulting this year and taking care of myself.
Talk about your journey to where you are now.
Yeah, so ever since I was in high school and coming up and getting established in what I wanted to do, I just knew I wanted to do something that involved helping people or giving back, especially to my community. That was one of my big factors. I actually wanted to become a counselor, but then I did a lot of research and found out, it's not the best paying job. So then I was convinced to go into physical therapy, and, I kind of conditioned myself to say, well, that is helping people, physically. Long story short, I took a biology class. The first semester I got a D+. Second one, I got an F. Yeah. So, usually you're supposed to improve in those situations. Unfortunately, it didn't work out like that for me. But that's kind of what I had, that's when I realized that, maybe I should continue what my passion was, which was to give back to people. So I switched my major over to sociology, where I learned a lot of stuff pertaining, our social climate and, our environment, our demographic, and just different things, and kind of the way the world is structured today, and the events that shaped that. And right after I got out of college, I did a little summer job to hold me over until I got established in a career. Mm-hmm. That summer job turned into a 2-year job. But before my grandmother passed, she told me that she really wanted me to put my degree to use because I didn't go to school for 5 years to not put it to use. Mm-hmm. So, I made sure to apply to some nonprofit organizations, and actually one of the first ones that got back to me was here at the Connections House, and that's how I got situated here.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I've seen the other day you were wearing a Pitt football shirt, and how you say you want to give back to your community. Have you in what ways have you gave back to your community in terms of like, because I know growing up you were a football player in high school, so it's cool to see you kind of just give back to your community, your high school, and like, what do you do there? Do you give any, like, what do you do there?
So I'm reestablishing that connection with our old high school. The main way I've been doing that is definitely becoming a little bit more involved with the football program. Again, like you said, I played football, so a lot of the coaches that are there and the staff are familiar and know who I am, and they're still over there. So any time I can get over there and help out with recently we just assisted with the banquet, the football banquet. So I was just helping out and helping the kids out there, and it's really it's a really rewarding thing to kind of just realize that I was just in that position not that long ago, and now I'm on kind of the other side and kind of in a more like position to be able to talk to other people and let them know about the Clubhouse and even our young adult program for people who don't know what they want to do after school or might have a benefit coming to our Clubhouse and the young adult program.
That is a perfect segue into my next question. What is the young adult program?
So the young adult program is a program here at the Clubhouse where our members who are 18 all the way up until they're 36 get to participate in programming that appeals to that age demographic. And a lot of things that we do is we have regular scheduled meetings. We go on outings together. We also are starting to incorporate some fundraising opportunities within our program to help pay for other expenses and outings and resources that we might need for our program. And it's a great way for young adults to kind of come in and get connected and kind of build a sense of family or community here at the Clubhouse.
Being a new staff member, because you've been working here for about how long, like nine months or so?
Yeah, about 9 months.
When I first came here, I thought I was going to be in my own lane of the multimedia unit. I would just take photos, take videos, and just post it, right? But throughout the months that I was here, I'm actually working register in Pat's place. I'm helping you guys take stuff out of the van. I'm leading the meetings or like the morning meetings within the Dream unit. And like the club, like as throughout my time here, I've learned more about the Clubhouse model, and it's not so much of a, what's it called? Patriarchy or?
Hierarchy.
Hierarchy, sorry.
Yeah.
Hierarchy. It's more of just like everyone working together towards a common goal. And you being new here, how did you adjust to that? And what are some of the challenges that you faced during your time here, and what are you doing currently to face or overcome those challenges?
The same kind of stuff you were kind of had issues with at first too was similar to my experience. I came completely new to the Clubhouse world. I had no idea what a Clubhouse was or how it functioned. Even during my interview process, where some of the members were giving me some like information about what the Clubhouse does and just bits and pieces, it was still hard for me to kind of wrap my head around the structure and how it actually operates. It's still kind of confusing, but I definitely think that being here for some time helped me really become enlightened on how important this place really is, because it's a great place where, again, like you said, there's no hierarchy. You're able to kind of just come in for the day and get situated wherever you can fit in and help your unit to the best of your ability and work in collaboration with other members or staff members as well. There's no sense of hierarchy and someone always telling you what to do. With that said, coming from, like retail experience or other traditional jobs, you usually have that sense of hierarchy where you just, report to your manager, report to your boss who gives you your like daily task and stuff. So in a way, it was hard for me to kind of like grasp that concept here with that, you don't really have to report to a boss. You are really just working, again, in collaboration with members to achieve a common goal for the unit or the work that is being done within the Clubhouse, which I think is great. So yeah, it was definitely a learning curve. It took some getting used to, but I feel like I'm doing pretty good with understanding that concept and it's working out. Some other things that I'm working on to actually continue to grow in this facility is, again, like taking on responsibilities like helping out with the young adult program. And we also try to really implement that there within the young adult program. So when we have our unit meetings or our young adult program meetings, our young adults are free to, give any suggestion that they can. And really how I fit into that equation is that, I feel like I'm just kind of like take all the information and all the suggestions and kind of work with our executive director and kind of find, how can we make this possible to better the young adult program and really serve as kind of like a middleman to kind of communicate these things of the young adults' needs and how we could accomplish them within our clubhouse.
Yeah. And then during your time as a young adult coordinator, what have you learned about yourself personally?
Yeah, so being in the position I am definitely helped me become a better learner. I had to definitely learn how to really listen and advocate for our young adults' needs. If there's a particular outing they want to do or a certain way they want to do things, to really grasp that and put that first and really trying to find how we can make it work for our young adults, and definitely becoming a better learner. That's by far probably the biggest thing that I think I've worked on.
Yeah, I think for me, what I've learned about myself as a young adult is definitely learning how to communicate, and I'm still working on that skill, and learning how to listen to our young adults too, and just in terms of like, trying to relate to them and just making sure that they're all good and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, so far from what I've seen and from what I hear from the other young adults, they appreciate your time here, appreciate your presence and the relationships that you're building around there. So I got to commend you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So moving on, switching gears, obviously being a nonprofit, right? There's not a lot of resources or money. And so you have to do a lot of fundraising and
Correct.
A lot of planning and trying to find the little, like, what can we do to make this better? So like in a perfect world, right? If you had all the money or the resources in the world, what would you do to improve or change the young adult program?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the main things that I've had my eye on or has been in my ear for some time was definitely try to find a way where we can implement some sort of young adult exchange with other clubhouses. And again, clubhouses spanned all over the world. And this doesn't necessarily have to be something where we're going to other countries and stuff, but maybe definitely start domestically within our even our own state, and eventually venturing out to other states. But I really think exposing our young adults to different environments and different demographics is a really great opportunity for growth, and it really builds independence as well. So, for example, giving a young adult who's only been exposed to California or just the Bay Area, giving them the opportunity to travel to places like to a clubhouse in Hawaii, a clubhouse in Utah, clubhouse in New York, that's huge, and that's really exciting to think that, okay, well, maybe we can send our young adults there and they can stay there for like, a few weekdays, get acclimated to that environment and kind of learn how their clubhouse functions and does things there. And then they come back and share all their cool, ideas and everything they learned here. I really think that would be an awesome thing that I would want to implement given those resources.
Yeah, for sure. And I also think that it helps mold them into a better version of themselves, of like how they envision themselves, like, okay, and also gets them excited to be like, okay, if I am going to go on this young adult exchange, how do I want to present myself?
Exactly.
How am I going to communicate myself to others? And so you got to start thinking about your hygiene, your habits and your routine and all that kind of stuff to become a adult,
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think that idea itself is great, and like it'll just, I mean, shoot, I'm down to go to New York or like Utah or something like that, Colorado.
It'd be a great incentive to really brag about that kind of thing within your young adult program.
Oh, for sure.
And I think that would really draw a crowd too, for people to want to be a part of that program. Obviously, there might be some criteria that you'd have to do in order to be considered to go to these different places and stuff, and your time given with the Clubhouse and what you give to the program. But I think it'd be, again, an awesome thing to implement and bring to our program.
For sure. Yeah. Cool. So switching gears again, with this new year coming up, obviously everyone has goals. What are your goals for the future of this program?
Yeah, so that's the thing about the young adult program is, it's always evolving just based off of the demands of young adults, and young adults are always evolving. One of our goals that we have in mind that we've spoken with our young adults actually today was for 2024, we really want to do like a young adult kickoff, so where we're doing a lot of heavy reach out to, other organizations that have young adult programs, other schools, just different community partners to let them know what we do and who we are. I think that's really important. Another thing that we really want to do is to really increase our fundraising. We have some fundraising goals and plans that we're going to start this month, and hopefully they trickle down into next year and continue down the line to help fund, again, for resources and for different outings.
Yeah, cool. Well, wish you all the best in that. And I know it's for sure not going to be easy, but
yeah, we're working on it.
It's a slow growth, slow grind, but we're here. Yeah. So what advice would you give to all the young adults out there, and given your own school and work experience?
Yeah, one of the biggest things that I think that I've seen from our program, and I can, it can serve as advice for those out there who might be interested in joining, is that it's a beautiful thing to be able to see these connections kind of just manifest naturally in a given space when we have our meetings and stuff, and really just highlight that, even though you are given a mental health diagnosis, that it doesn't necessarily make who you are. It doesn't define you. There's still ways that you can combat it and go about in coming to safe places like a young adult program like we have, to be able to connect in a safe environment with other people and have that sense of family and community and belonging in that kind of safe space. I think it's a great opportunity to kind of highlight and showcase that for people who are out there who might be interested in joining.
Beautiful. Well, cool. Before we wrap this up, Manny, do you have any last words out there for people, or anything you want to say?
Yeah, definitely come check us out. Come check out the young adult program. We would love all and everyone's support. Our program grows and will grow with the participation of our members, and the sky's the limit, I think, and I think it'll be a really great thing to have people come in and really, give their input on what they want from the program and how it can benefit them, and let's make it happen. Thank you guys for having me today.
Yeah, let's make it happen, Captain.
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, thank you, Manny, again for coming onto the show and
of course,
shedding light on the, or not shedding light, but talking about the young adult program and your future goals and just what you envision. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I just want to welcome Trent Kemp. He's been a longtime member of the Clubhouse since 2012. During this part of the episode, we want to get his testimony on how the Young Adults program has impacted his life positively.
Young Adults is a favorite thing of mine on a weekly basis because if you think about it, you never really realize that at the beginning of this organization, even though I've always been a young adult my existence throughout it, I never really knew that I could participate in the Young Adults program until a certain age in my life, which I still don't even exactly remember because it kind of just hit me one day that this was an option. So I guess you could just say one day I was, minding my business at the Clubhouse, and I heard something about how on Fridays there was a Young Adults option. And it kind of hit me that you don't have to just find your way amongst all of the different kinds of adults. There's a certain group just for you. And I was like, wow, so I might as well be here while I can. And I'm 31 now. I've been here since I was 20 years old, but that means basically since my 20s, definitely since my 20s. So if you think about it, I would say at most 11 plus years I've had in young adults has been it's just given me the feeling of camaraderie and people who definitely know what I know about life. And it feels like a greater sense of like equality among your friends and your peers than just the average person here.
Thank you, Trent. And that has concluded our episode for today. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Thank you again, Manny, for coming onto the show. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.